5:30 a.m., April 21st, 2006 at the Riverside T Station in Newton, Massachusetts. Several hundred high school and college students from the Boston area gathered to travel to New York City and voice their concerns about human rights abuses. This isn't the only place where people got up early. More than 1,000 students from 11 different states across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region participated in this event, called Get on the Bus, which is organized by a local Amnesty chapter in Somerville.
I'm the organizer of Get on the Bus, and local group 133 of Amnesty International, based in Somerville, has put this event on for the past 11 years. And we take several hundred high school and college students from Amnesty chapters to New York City for a day of activism.
This is the biggest event every year organized by Amnesty members.
It's Get on the Bus, and we went last year, and it was so much fun that I decided that I should do it for my senior project, and we're going again this year.
I'm Lila. I'm just going. I think it's cool to actually do something instead of sit around and talk about it. So I'm just happy to actually do something.
We have a speakers panel, and we're featuring 5 speakers this year. Then we go off to the Sudanese mission to the United Nations, where we're going to have a protest around the issue of Darfur. And we recently learned that the representatives of the mission are going to meet with Amnesty right after our demonstration. So we're pretty excited about that. Then we're going to protest at the Ethiopian mission about political repression in that country. And then we are also protesting at the Guatemalan consulate on the issue of violence against women. There have been nearly 2,000 women murdered over the course of about 5 years. And many of the cases have not been properly investigated, and nobody has been brought to justice for the crimes. So we're drawing attention to that issue. And then we end the day at the Chinese consulate, as we do every year. It's a Get on the Bus tradition. This year, the focus of our demonstration is internet censorship and U.S. companies' complicity in that. And specifically, we're looking at Yahoo, which has helped jail, we think, 3 Chinese writers based on their emails. So we don't think that U.S. companies should be helping the Chinese government put people in jail for their free speech rights.
I get on the bus for what I believe in. I get on the bus to fight the good fight. I get on the bus to New York City. I get on the bus for human rights. I get on the bus for what I believe in. I get on the bus to fight the good fight. I get on the bus to New York City. I get on the bus for human rights. We get on the bus every springtime. We get on the bus until we die. We get on the bus to make a difference.
My father's name is Mr. Damaya. He turned 76 this week. A retired university professor who spent about 50 years advocating for the peasants in Ethiopia, who ironically had been the most vulnerable to starvation. He spent his life in academic research, where through scores of publications he has highlighted that successive governments of the emperor, the communist military dictatorship that violently replaced it, and the current regime that ousted the military dictatorship have been less and less accountable and more repressive. He's currently in prison along with many of his colleagues who, like him, do believe that the Ethiopian people deserve democracy, the rule of law, and respect for their human rights.
On February 1st, 2002, 30-year-old Nancy Karina Peralta left her home early in the morning to go to work, and then she was headed off to the university where she was studying. Nancy never came home that night. 2 days later, her family found her body in the morgue. Her throat had been slashed, she had been brutally stabbed 48 times, and her body had been thrown in a desolate area in the capital city of Guatemala. To date, her case remains unresolved. 15-year-old Maria Isabel Franco was kidnapped in mid-December 2001. Her body was found shortly before Christmas. She had been raped. Her hands and feet had been tied with barbed wire. She had been stabbed and strangled. Her body was thrown in a wasteland on the west side of the capital. Maria Isabel's case, too, remains unresolved. Nancy and Maria Isabel's stories are many of the many stories that have been told to me by women's rights organizations and families when I traveled to Guatemala. But unfortunately, their fates are similar to that of thousands of other young women in Guatemala. In this small Central American country, barely a day goes by without another body being found. But beyond a lack of capacity and resources to carry out the investigations, the government's failures to respond is more a question of political will. The fact is that in Guatemala, violence against women is tolerated, that the authorities often downplay the situation or they simply just don't care to investigate. Instead, they blame the victims for their face, suggesting that they're prostitutes, that they're gang members, that they wore provocative clothing, or that they were out too late at night.
Yahoo, an American company, is helping put citizens in jail by giving information, personal, private information about their customers to one of the most repressive governments in the world.
And we're here to work for the release of Shitao, who, with the help of Yahoo, was in prison for sending email of supposedly secrets, but it was really public information.
Yahoo executives say they are really distressed about Shitao being in jail. But have they publicly called for his release? No. Have they said, we won't ever do this again? No. We all have to make sure that the Chinese government stops jailing and torturing peaceful political dissidents. And we also have to make sure that Yahoo and other American companies stop helping them.
Another year safely down the hatch. Everybody's home safe and sound. We had a ball. We learned a lot and made a lot of noise. And I think, all in all, another success.
Hold up your candle if you remember how the world forgot 800,000 Rwandans. Hold up your candle if you've a hole burned into your heart by the Shoah, the Great Fire, the Holocaust. And hold up your candle if you can still see the smoke and taste the ashes. Hold up your candle if you know that tears only feed the fire. Hold up your candle if you refuse to let the world sob itself to sleep, waiting for a wish because we did not listen to them, because we did not burn with them, because we did not tell them, I am going to save you, here I am your miracle. For who dares to say that miracles are simply the dusted words of Bibles? Friends, look at the crying ones you stand side by side with, listen to the heavenly psalms of hope and hurt, and feel your heart rise through the halo above your head to join the 100,000 others who will heal the world. Hold up your candle if you are an angel.
I get on the bus for what I believe in. I get on the bus to fight the good fight. I get on the bus to New York City. I get on the bus for human rights. In a world of wealth and plenty, we still see so much need, while the few exploit the many to satisfy their greed. But the people thirst for justice, and it will not be denied. And when we want to raise our voices, we get on the bus and ride. I get on the bus for what I believe in. I get on the bus to fight the good fight. I get on the bus to New York City. I get on the bus for